"Stop squirming or it will break," the doctor screamed at me. I didn't know whether he was referring to the scalpel he had stabbed inches deep into my penis or my penis itself. All I could see was blood dripping all over my legs and the stars in my eyes as I began to black out. I couldn't believe that after years of defending America on the harsh battlefield, this would be how I would meet my maker. Hi, I'm John Swanson, and I'm about to share a weird story with you. It's about a desperate attempt to save my failing marriage led me to discover an almost miraculous method to help regain the rock-hard firmness and marathon stamina stolen from me by erectile dysfunction, or ED as I call it. What I discovered that night in a dark medical lab on the Thailand-Burma border would give me, and thousands of other men I've shared the secret with, the ever-ready erections and rock-hard firmness of our youth, and I achieved this without costly pharmaceuticals or potentially dangerous surgery. In fact, I'll bet you'll be shocked when you see how this simple method can be used to help reverse the reduced sexual desire, embarrassment, and low self-esteem that years of suffering from ED can lead to. Trust me, I had tried all sorts of strange remedies to get it up. I even self-injected my member with needles of special chemicals designed to increase blood flow. Yet, these solutions were painful and led to uncomfortable erections that lasted almost 12 hours and needed medical treatment to relieve. The real breakthrough came from a team of doctors, a clinical study, and the fateful encounter one night with a Thai pharmacist that claimed to have the cure for ED. I'll tell you more how this came to be in a moment, but first I must warn you, I have no desire for fame. I created this site because I had a desire to help men like you who struggle with the same issues I did: sexual frustration, a disappearing sex life, and an inability to get hard that's so bad you painfully watch as your partner gets out of bed with nothing but dissatisfaction painted all over her face. This short presentation is for the man seeking a natural remedy to erectile dysfunction, even occasional ED, that excludes expensive, potentially dangerous, and even addictive drugs like Levitra, Cialis, Viagra, or painful shots that promise to boost testosterone. I'm not looking to change the world. I just want to get this secret into the hands of a handful of men that can use it. However, my web host has been sending me bigger and bigger bills because this video is starting to get very popular. That's why I don't know how long I can afford to keep giving this information away for free. In fact, I'm not sure how long I can keep it up. So, it should be clear to you that however you made it here, it's for a good reason, because this may be the last time you see this presentation. However, as long as you keep watching and pay attention, you'll learn about the incredible, proven science that helped me turn back the clock on my sex life and enjoy firmer, longer-lasting erections. I'll show you how to get the kind of thick, powerful erections that bring back the fun and enjoyment of sex, and how you can completely reverse the looks of disappointment and disgust that your lover gives after another lifeless performance and transform them into moans of pleasure as your now rock-hard boners give her the sexual ecstasy and satisfaction that no man has ever been able to give her until now. Just like Adam Hartman from Huntsville, Alabama. He emailed this to me after he used the Thai hardening technique that I'm about to give you in this short presentation. Hey, John, I just wanted to thank you for sharing your technique in this video. I admit that in my attempt to fix my limp erections, I'd been fooled by other men claiming to have the answer. I thought this was going to be another testosterone pill or special diet or even some knockoff blue vitamin. That's why I'm glad I decided to stick with it and watch until the very end, because after I used your few simple steps, I was able to go back into the bedroom and give my wife the kind of sex she'd been craving since our first year of marriage, when I was a much younger man. In fact, I think it's fair to say that my erections are bigger and harder than they've ever been. Not only am I feeling more confident, but I love the look of happiness and surprise on her face when just minutes after orgasm, I'm ready to go for second helpings. I thought that it was impossible to enjoy this kind of sexual power now that I'm in my late 50s, but I'm glad to know that the truth is, with your technique, hard, long-lasting erections are not only possible, but expected. Thanks again. Well, now it's time for me to give you the secret and tell you a little bit about how this miracle solution came to be. And it truly is a miracle because, trust me, there was a time when I thought I would never be able to reverse the soft erections and fading libido that began to negatively affect my relationship. You see, after many nights of unsuccessful sex, my wife would go to sleep disappointed, and I would stay up doing research on every medical, holistic, and even alternative remedy for ED you can think of. From synthetic penile implants that needed to be pumped full of air and had risks of exploding, to vacuum penis pumps that leave your member sore and abnormally shaped, to intracavernosal injections where the needle could break and become lodged in your penis. And for the longest time, I was too much of a coward to try anything that could potentially leave my member in worse condition than it already was. So I would often crawl back into that cold bed, hours later, just as tired and frustrated as the woman lying next to me. I was ready to give up when the worst thing that I could ever imagine happening came to life. I'll share that story with you in a moment, and after I do, it'll be clear to you why implants, injections, and pharmaceutical drugs are not the solution you've been searching for, and how a simple 30-second daily fix is all you need to have the sexual confidence, rejuvenated sex life, and rock-hard erections you truly deserve. And this is important to know because there are lots of lies floating around about what the root cause of ED is and how to treat it. Of course, the biggest lie is that ED is just something that happens to every man as he gets older, and there's nothing you can do about it. Even though older men may need more arousal than a teenager, it has nothing to do with age and more with the fact that you have more experience. The sight of a naked breast isn't a game changer for you now, like it was for you as a 15-year-old. As I'll soon show you, thousands of men all over the world are using my technique to enjoy sex well into their 70s, 80s, and even 90s, and there's no reason why you can't be one of them. Another lie is that ED is all in your head. Yet, the truth is, nervousness about first-time sex with a new partner isn't ED. However, if you've been unable to get it up even occasionally, then your ED most likely has a physical cause that can be much more dangerous than you realize. Keep watching, and I'll explain exactly what that is. According to many popular articles online, and even some dialogues from famous politicians, watching too much pornography can cause ED. However, if you do a search on PubMed, the world's largest database of medical literature online, you'll quickly see there isn't one single published study connecting pornography with erectile dysfunction. Have you ever heard that pharmaceutical-grade pills are the only way to cure ED? Well, the facts are that pills like Viagra and Cialis only affect the symptoms of ED, become less effective the more you use them, and can be both dangerous for your heart and psychologically addictive, leaving you unable to have sex without them, a vicious cycle that can leave you more limp than you were when you began taking them. And here's some nonsense out of the fancy hills of Los Angeles that may really get your blood boiling. Many celebrities claim that certain yoga positions and so-called Kegel exercises are all you need to reclaim the man in your manhood. But no red-blooded American has ever cured ED from paying some celebrity yoga instructor with a man bun $150 a class. I'll tell you the truth about how to reclaim the vigor and virility of your youth. Best of all, it has nothing to do with pills, pumps, or pop science. You'll find out how nearly losing my member on a surgeon's table in Bangkok led me to the discovery of a powerful solution that gave me my life back and helped change the lives of countless men all over the world. I'll show you step by step how to get it up within seconds whenever you want, on command, and how to supercharge your sex drive so quickly, safely, and effectively that you'll wonder why your doctor hasn't mentioned it to you before. Because like I mentioned earlier, this 30-second-a-day solution has nothing to do with dangerous drugs, surgeries, exercises, special diets, or expensive supplements. This system is backed by clinical studies that have proven to work for men of any age, from men in their 20s with occasional ED to gray-haired seniors who haven't seen an erection in decades. In fact, Big Pharma is upset that I released this video. They're laughing all the way to the bank as they steal hard-earned money from men convinced by clever marketing that Viagra, Levitra, Cialis, Staxin, and Stendera will cure them of their erection problems. And they don't want me to show men like you how to gain rock-hard erections without burning through your savings. But I've always believed that I've been put here on God's green earth to serve. So if you stick with me, I'll show you the facts about how to solve your sex problems for good. However, first you should know that what I'm about to share with you will spit in the face of everything you thought you knew about ED. I used to make excuses for myself, thinking it must have been because I'd been drinking too much, or maybe I was tired or stressed out from work. Then I started thinking maybe it was age catching up with me, but damn, I was only 43 when I first noticed that I wasn't getting rock hard like I used to. I'd get red from embarrassment as I fumbled to get the condom on my halfway woody. You know, the kind that you just have to cram in any way you can as she begs you to make love to her while you watch, humiliated, as the look of disappointment slowly washes over her face again. If only I'd have known then the solution that I'm about to share with you now, I could have saved myself so much suffering. I'm still haunted by the pained looks I get when, after all the effort to finally get hard, my erections would often just wither away within minutes after sex began. To a woman, those soft erections are much more disappointing than you not being able to get it up at all. I mean, think about it. How would you feel if she gave you a gift and then ripped it out of your hands before you had a chance to open the box? That's what it was like for her. And if you know women, you know that they remember every little thing, frustrations, pains, disappointments, for much longer than you realize. Then there's the half-gasm. It's when you have to arouse yourself to almost the point of no return just to get hard enough for penetration. Yet when you enter her, you last 30 seconds, only to have the weakest, most unsatisfying orgasm your body can possibly muster. The strength of your orgasm will become very important to you during this video, so please take note. You probably don't realize that if your orgasms are losing intensity, then this may be a sign of issues even more severe than erectile dysfunction. Let's take a trip back to your teenage years. There you are, stretching during gym class, when that cute blonde that you've had your eyes on walks by in a cheerleading outfit, short enough to get a healthy look at her legs. A sight like that was enough to have you rip a hole in your shorts. And even though you may remember being embarrassed by such sudden erections then, I bet that if you're being honest with yourself, you'd love to have that problem now. Because those were the days when you'd have the most exhausting, leg-trembling, blissful orgasms of your life, and just moments later, you'd be ready to go again. Well, keep watching, because in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you how to get that level of intensity back. Do you remember when you'd wake up every morning with a strong sprout of morning wood? The kind that wouldn't go down until you or your lover took care of it. Well, if you're no longer getting those, then it's a possible warning sign that you're caught in the throes of mid-stage to full-blown ED, a dangerous condition where you can't even get hard with the use of heavy pharmaceutical drugs. Some men then resort to taboo treatments, like the Karen Viagra that men of Myanmar in Southeast Asia use, where they inject their penises and testicles with coconut oil just to gain extra inches in hardness, only to end up years later with difficulty peeing, reduction in sensitivity, pain, and limp, lifeless penises where surgery is needed to Frankenstein their members back together again. And I don't have to tell you that this is like a death sentence for your John. Scary stuff. And no man wants that. However, imagine waking up tomorrow with a higher sex drive than you had when you were a sex-crazed teenager. How great would you feel if your erections became stronger and harder every day? You'd no doubt feel more confident and self-satisfied than you have in years. And you'll notice that the major symptoms of ED, like trouble getting an erection, difficulty maintaining an erection, premature ejaculation, and lack of interest in sex will begin to quickly fade away. The truth is, the results you'll witness from this tie-hardening technique come so quickly and easily that you'll hardly believe it's happening, even though you see and feel the results every day. If it wasn't for the incredible length I went through to discover this secret, I'd hardly believe it myself, because no man should ever have to experience what I did. Nor should you experience the heartache and disappointment that brought me halfway around the world in a desperate search for answers. And all of this because of Martha. I met her as a young man. At the time, I had dreams of owning a small hardware store like my dad, starting a family, and living a very low-key life. Uncle Sam had different plans for me. I couldn't turn down the opportunity to serve my country, but I also knew that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with that woman. So I told myself that if I somehow make it back from that war, and she's still there waiting, then I would marry Martha and cherish her until we grew old. Somehow, by the grace of God, I made it back from all that heat and swamp and fiery red ants that would hike into my boots and bite me as I slept. Not every one of my friends were so lucky. But when I got back to El Paso, there she was, waiting for me at the airport, wearing an expression that said, "Well, it's about time," as if there was never a thought in her mind that I wouldn't make it back. And that's when I knew she was going to be mine forever. And things were humming along smoothly for us. The leadership and management principles that my service in the U.S. Marine Corps gave me helped kickstart a successful business where I sold medical equipment with a chemist buddy of mine. Martha and I raised 3 beautiful kids, had a nice big house, and a healthy sex life. Until the ED, that is. And though we shared a deep respect and love for each other, there was an undeniable sexual attraction that kept us stuck together like glue. And as I became unable to please her, I could see that strong bond beginning to break. First, it was the arguments over nothing, the constant nagging and bickering. She even started to compare our failing sex life to the healthy ones her friends were still enjoying. This both broke me and angered me. Where was the supportive woman that waited years for me to return from the jungle? But I don't blame her, so I tried remedy after remedy in some vain attempt to please her. Nothing worked. First, it was just that I couldn't last long enough. Then, it was that I wasn't hard enough. And finally, it got to the point where I couldn't get it up at all and avoided all sexual contact with her. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. I would catch her laughing and giggling with someone over the phone when I'd come home from work. And in the past, I'd come home to a warm meal set out for me, and now there was no food on the table. She felt colder than the TV dinner stuffed in the freezer. I knew that I'd needed to do something to save our marriage, or it was going to slip right out of my fingers. So, for our anniversary, I took Martha on a trip to Thailand. She had always wanted to see the temples, and I was always too busy with work to make it happen. But this time, I was desperate. I really wanted it to be something special, but right away, I could tell something was wrong. At this point, I'd been secretly taking Cialis and Viagra for months, gradually increasing the doses just to get hard. Even then, they just weren't working like they used to. As soon as we got off the plane, I started popping pills and fluffing myself up to take her the moment we entered our hotel room, but there wasn't even the slightest pump going on down there. I prayed that maybe they would just kick in later. However, night came and still nothing. I got so anxious that I started drinking like crazy, trying to relax and to give myself an excuse for why I couldn't perform when we got to bed. The next morning, I had a splitting headache, but still no wood, despite waking up to her hornily grinding on me while kissing my neck. I was so embarrassed when she started reaching for my limp dick that I jumped straight out of my bed into the bathroom for a shower. I started popping pills again and yanking on myself, praying for a miracle that I could walk out and impress her with. At this point, my heart was pounding and I could barely breathe, but still, nothing but disappointment. There was no way I wasn't going to fuck my wife on our anniversary. Seeing her tanning by the pool, strolling in her bikini on the beach, staring at me longingly in anticipation. I wanted to give her the time of her life, but I was terrified of failing to perform, humiliating myself, and leaving her feeling rejected and unsatisfied. And I could tell that my drinking and avoidance was ruining it for her. While she was napping that afternoon, I snuck away to the pharmacies of Bangkok, scrambling for a solution to my lifeless problem. I must have looked like some deranged drug junkie as I ran sweating and out of breath, asking pharmacist after pharmacist for something stronger than those damn pills. Finally, one man gave me a syringe that I could inject myself with down there that was guaranteed to solve my problem. I was so desperate I was ready to try anything, as painful as it seemed. Before I got back to the hotel room, I snuck into the bathroom of the hotel restaurant, pulled my trousers down to my ankles, and stabbed myself in the penis with the solution. I apparently didn't put it in the right place, so I injected myself again and again, maybe 10 times more, until my dick was sore. After a few minutes, I could feel the blood rushing to my member. I became really excited. This stuff must really work, I thought to myself. I jetted to the elevator and pushed the button for the 17th floor. As I went up, I became very hard and firm. Thoughts of ravishing my wife all night began to flood my mind. Yet, when I arrived at the 17th floor, the dizziness and heart palpitations that Viagra usually gave me began to appear. I could see my heart beating through my shirt, and it worried me even more. I immediately took the elevator back down to the lobby, ran to the taxi stand, and begged the cabbie to take me to a hospital. On the cab ride there, my dick began to get very hard, so hard that it hurt, like it was being filled like a balloon and was ready to pop. I couldn't even stand up to get out of the cab because just the sensation of my clothes brushing over me was more than I could bear. The doctor strapped me to a gurney and wheeled me to the emergency room, as they feared I was going to have a heart attack, while all I could think about was whether my penis would ever work again. The doctors gave me some beta blockers to lower my blood pressure and decrease the adrenaline that was racing through my veins. I told them what happened and how worried I was that my penis was going to explode. Strapped down on the gurney, one doctor applied a local anesthetic, while another pulled out a number 11 scalpel, shoved it into the head of my dick, and twisted it sideways as they removed it. He explained that this was called a T-shunt, and the purpose was to drain the blood trapped in my penis so that it would go down to its normal size. Apparently, if the blood was trapped in there for too long, I could lose sensation forever. Because of the anesthetic, I couldn't feel any pain, but I could feel the tugging and pushing as they jammed the scalpel in, and I could see the blood pouring out from a place no man ever wants blood to pour out from. I would have fainted if it wasn't for the nurse making sure that I stayed awake during the procedure to avoid any complications. After the procedure, the head surgeon came to me, put his hand on my shoulder, and asked me if I was all right. Dr. Mark Ram was a young man, but already one of the leading surgeons in the country. He told me about what a risk I took, and how he had seen other men come in with much worse priapisms that left them unable to use their members afterwards. I know it was dangerous, but I was desperate, I muttered, feeling my face turn red from embarrassment. Dr. Ram shook his head and told me that by using these treatments I wasn't addressing the true cause of ED. He told me that after many years studying patients and long months of research, he concluded that the problem is much bigger than most men realize. You see, ED is really just a symptom of a larger, more dangerous problem, he told me. The majority of ED in men of all ages is caused by clogged blood vessels in the arteries of the penis. This should come as no surprise since your penis is a part of your vascular system, and the process of getting hard involves having the spongy tissue of your penis being filled with blood. In fact, because the vessels in the penis are very small compared to other parts of the body, problems with ED can be a warning sign that other vessels, such as those leading to the heart, may also be affected. I must have had a real confused look on my face, because he attempted to make it more clear to me. When fat and plaque build up and clog these blood vessels, it prevents blood from flowing through your arteries. When this happens in your penis, it causes ED. But the worst part is that this buildup rarely happens in just one place. I was skeptical. I felt like Dr. Ram was telling me that I had something else wrong with me besides my ED, but he explained the science behind my situation. He said that plaque in a coronary artery can cause angina, chest pain with exercise or stress, or a heart attack. In an artery in the brain, it can cause memory loss, dementia, or stroke. And this is why researchers from the University of Minnesota School of Medicine recommended that anyone experiencing ED should be immediately assessed for cardiovascular risk, as ED is a major sign of more dangerous health issues underway. As if that wasn't bad enough, he told me that ED and prostate disease are also closely related, since the prostate is an integral part of a man's sexuality. The prostate is actually responsible for proper ejaculation, and the overall strength of your orgasms is dependent on the health of your gland. That means if you're not coming as powerfully as you used to, or if sex is becoming less and less pleasurable, then it may be because of issues related to your prostate. But what really shocked me was when he said that a whopping 50% of men who are diagnosed with prostate disease are also diagnosed with ED. This young doctor had apparently received a very prestigious award for a huge breakthrough in heart and prostate health among middle-aged men. But I was still skeptical. I think I was actually just scared. So Dr. Ram gave me a practical example that really opened my eyes about the relationship between ED and prostate health. When most guys go about treating ED, they start by taking pills like Cialis, Levitra, or Viagra, but these drugs only treat the symptoms, not the disease. Tackling ED this way might work for some in the short run, but it's actually ignoring the underlying problem and often only making things worse. To To think of it another way, he continued, imagine that you were in a car accident that crushed your arm. Your major symptoms would have been severe pain and bleeding, right? If I gave you painkillers and wrapped up your arm in a bandage, would that fix your broken arm? No, I said. Exactly. I may have temporarily stopped the bleeding and given you some pain relief, but until I reset that bone, you still have a broken arm. So if your ED symptoms are soft and weak erections, and I give you pills to increase circulation and pump your penis full of blood, did any of this actually treat the plaque buildup in your arteries or improve the health of your prostate? Of course not, I said. That only temporarily makes me hard again. Now you're getting it, Dr. Ram replied. Once again, I only addressed the symptoms, but the difference here is that these temporary ED fixes also increase your blood pressure, and if you have clogged arteries, that puts you at a much higher risk of heart attack or stroke. This is why the most common side effects of these drugs are pounding headaches and heart palpitations. That's why I felt like my heart was going to pop out of my chest, I said. Exactly, he replied. These pills are dangerous, and things only become worse when you take things as far as you did. Yet, despite the risks, doctors continue to prescribe these drugs because it's more profitable than actually addressing the underlying cause behind ED. When you cure the cause, then the symptoms go away because your body's actually healthy and working properly. Suddenly, it all made sense. I could see why doctors kept prescribing these drugs, expensive drugs you need to take for the rest of your life, that become less and less effective as your body grows used to them. Dangerous drugs that put you at serious risk of heart attack or stroke while your underlying problems go untreated. The reason why doctors continue to prescribe these treatments is because it's much more profitable for them if you keep paying for drugs that will never actually cure your problem. That's why most doctors will never tell you the ED secret that Dr. Ram revealed to me and that I'm about to give you now. Dr. Ram could tell that I was worried, yet he smiled at me, looked me deep in the eyes, and quietly said, I have a solution that can solve the prostate issues that are keeping you from achieving the erections that you've been hoping for. He then handed me a list of herbs and minerals that he would often give the men that suffered from real bad ED, the kind that you get from dangerous surgeries and injections. He told me that these herbs seemed to work wonders for men he treated. So I went back to the hotel and told my wife what happened. After more than a few arguments and lots of tears, she urged me to go back and get more information from the doctor. She felt that if I was willing to risk my life just to have sex on our anniversary, then I should at least find out if what Dr. Ram gave me was the truth. The next morning, I went to the hospital, and Dr. Ram greeted me with details about each plant, herb, and mineral, and where I could find them back home. He urged me to take what he showed me seriously, because my ED problems were the least of my issues, and what I held in my hands had the power to not only solve my sexual issues, but my other health problems too. I was terrified to know that my ED was only a sign of problems much greater, but I took what I had learned and returned home with the knowledge that there was hope and not much else. The first thing I had to do was track down all the ingredients Dr. Ram had told me about. Fortunately, some I could run down and grab at the local store, but others were from bushes and shrubs in other countries I'd never even heard of, let alone seen before. Getting everything together was an ordeal, but then came the truly excruciating part. I started off mixing everything together into one big pot and making a tea from these wild roots, shrubs, and minerals. And wow, I can tell you firsthand that I know why nobody ever eats enough of these things. They tasted really bitter and were hard to drink down at once. Even though the strong smell of my own breath woke me up the next morning, the good news was that my little friend downstairs was rock hard and ready to salute. This gave me the will to keep going. Over the next 2 years, I continued to experiment with new combinations and discovered that to really have an effect, I needed to eat a lot of this stuff. I was drinking this terrible tea every morning, but God is my witness, I was hard as a rock. Once I was confident that I had the right formula, I knew there had to be a better way to consume it. So I called Randy, my old military buddy and business partner, who used to work as an industrial chemist. I told him about my unique project and asked if he had any colleagues that would be interested in helping me to develop a capsule from this boner tea. Naturally, I wanted Randy to help me all along, and after ribbing me about not asking him directly, he agreed to help me break down the ingredients into a concentrated form so I wouldn't have to suffer through gulping all that down anymore. Of course, knowing what it was for, he had to try some himself. So we extracted everything and made our first batch in precisely the right combination, but I still needed to drink a cup or two of this god-awful tea to get 80% of the results I was getting on my regular regimen. And though that was enough to experience solid erections, I didn't want us to settle at solid. You can say that waking up with a raging hard-on every morning kinda spoiled me. So we kept at it. After an additional 4 months of formulation and research, and maybe 100 almost but not quite right batches, we perfected the concentrated formula into small capsules that made it possible to avoid gagging down all that tea. And I'm so glad we did, because in addition to overcoming the humiliation of ED, I reclaimed the sexual energy and vitality I had as a young man. Before this boner breakthrough, I'd get nervous any time my wife wanted sex, and now I was waking her up every morning with a stiff one that porn star Peter North would be proud of. I hadn't felt this horny since I was a very young man. As for my chemist buddy Randy, it was actually his wife Marge who called me up and thanked me. Apparently they had been going through a bit of a rough patch as well, and all that extra time in the bedroom helped sort everything out. The funny thing is, I had started out doing all this just to help improve my own health, but Randy and Marge insisted that I find a way to make this available to everyone. That is where the real adventure began. I never expected to become so involved in so many men and women's lives. How could I have known that I would go on to help 10,457 men not only cure their ED, but possibly even save their lives? I was just a guy with a problem willing to do anything to make it right. I know you'd do the same thing in my shoes. I think any man would. But here I was, about to share my ED solution with the world. So, let's recap. This is what we know about ED. We know it is caused by clogs in your blood vessels and arteries that restrict blood flow to your member when you need it. We know that this inflammation does damage to your prostate, further reducing your sex drive and performance. We also know that dick pills that boost blood pressure don't solve these problems, despite being the sole target of nearly every modern medical solution. This is the puzzle I had to solve. How can you reduce the symptoms of ED without dangerous drugs and come up with an actual solution? I knew that if I could unlock this mystery, it could change the course of how ED is treated forever. That's why I'm so excited after all my years of research to finally be able to give you the answer. A unique new supplement I call Duraflex, though, in a way, this knowledge has been known by various cultures around the world for centuries. This is simply the first time all this ancient wisdom has been brought together in one place. A mixture of tribal remedies and modern science with results that are unmistakable. These soothing, earth-grown nutrients and natural aphrodisiacs can be used to boost libido and help repair vascular inflammation and have been proven to dramatically reduce the symptoms of ED. The following is what Howard Rudd discovered after deciding to try the solution that I'm about to share with you right now. I tried Duraflex because I was sick and tired of not being able to perform even if I was really aroused. I like my share of whiskey and found it impossible to even get semi-hard if I had a glass with dinner. Even sober, I could never get an erection firm enough for penetration. I'd get home from work and crash on the couch and try to avoid the advances of my wife. I love that woman, and I could see that my lack of desire for sex was hurting her. I drank more and ended up gaining a bunch of weight, which didn't help my issues downstairs. I got Duraflex based on a friend's recommendation, and now 3 months later, I have never felt better. Within a few days of taking it just once a day, I could feel my desire come back. Then my erections went from ground zero to semi-hard to sweet Jesus Howard. As my wife and I began to have more and more sex, I still enjoy a glass of whiskey with dinner because I like the taste, but it no longer keeps me from being able to make love to my woman. I go through the day with more confidence, and my close friends even say that they notice something different about my attitude. I haven't felt this good since college, and my wife is loving the new me. Thank you so much. So, what can you do today to reduce the symptoms and actually alleviate the true cause of ED? Fortunately, that's an easy question to answer. It requires a next-generation ED supplement, one tailor-made for the sole purpose of reducing inflammation and improving blood flow throughout your entire body, not just your penis, and one manufactured with the absolute highest standards possible. Let's cover the specifics of what you must do next. Since ED is a 21st century culprit, you must heal your body with 21st century defenders and send these vital nutrients into your body so that they can get to work. While there can't be any guarantee, of course, that this will be a perfect solution for everyone, I am now totally convinced that these defenders can help protect and prevent ED as well as the life-threatening factors that it stems from. That's why it's so important that we finally have a treatment that addresses the root cause of ED instead of just treating the symptoms. A real remedy that improves your heart and prostate with the help of 6 all-natural essential ingredients. Let me tell you a bit about these 6 ED heroes. The first is called selenium selenate. Selenium is a vital nutrient for men's health. It's what's sometimes called a super antioxidant, reducing oxidative stress from highly reactive free radicals. It helps sustain regular levels of thyroid hormones and keeps you from getting sick by powering your immune system. In addition, selenium protects your prostate, can help reduce episodes of ED, and even protects your heart. According to studies conducted by the University of Maryland Medical Center, just 200 micrograms of selenium per day cuts your chances of having prostate cancer by as much as 2/3. Selenium also helps reduce oxidative stress and combats plaque buildup in your arteries. This helps to not only improve blood flow in your groin, but to your heart and entire body as well. Enter beta-cisterol, which I like to call the prostate miracle shrinker. You see, inflammation is a major factor that leads to cancer and other diseases throughout your body, and beta-cisterol has remarkable anti-inflammatory properties. It is used in medicines for treating a wide range of conditions including cervical and colon cancer, fibromyalgia, lupus, allergies, hair loss, heart disease, and high cholesterol, all of which result from chronic inflammation in various different parts of the body. Most incredibly, though, is its unique ability to bind to your prostate to reduce swelling, which is why it is a key ingredient in most drugs for treating and shrinking an enlarged prostate before it becomes diseased. Another prostate helper is the fruit of the saw palmetto tree. These scrubby tropical palms rarely make their way into the average American diet, but have been used for centuries around the Caribbean as a source of strength and sexual virility. Recently, modern science has found a use for saw palmetto in repairing the inner workings of the prostate and returning sexual prowess to men with prostate-related ED issues. A popular libido booster that you've probably heard a lot about is maca root. The indigenous peoples of Peru have been using maca for fertility and male enhancement for well over 2,000 years, but this secret has only recently become common knowledge. In addition to enhancing your sex drive, scientists have been surprised to find that maca increases sperm production, actually boosting the strength of your orgasm, causing you to shoot bigger, thicker loads. Even more ancient are the known aphrodisiac benefits of Korean ginseng. For over 5,000 years, ginseng has been used throughout Asia to boost fertility with incredible results. With over 3/5 of the world's population, some might say it works a little too well. Ginseng's power comes from its ability to increase circulation, sharpening your mind, increasing blood flow to your heart, and bringing throbbing, rock-hard erections back to your groin. Last but not least is the all-too underappreciated element zinc. Almost nobody ever gets enough zinc in their diet, yet zinc is one of the main ingredients in the production of testosterone. Without zinc, you can't make testosterone, and your libido goes to the dogs. Studies have shown that taking zinc supplements alone for men over 50 is enough to cause your testosterone levels to nearly double. Now you see why each of these ingredients are so important to not only help relieve the symptoms of ED, but also treat the underlying causes that lead to erectile dysfunction in the first place. This isn't a Band-Aid. Duraflex is an actual solution chock full of ingredients to help make your entire body healthier so that your ED issues fade away naturally and you're able to breathe the life back into your sex life. Now, I don't have to tell you about the benefits of being able to get it up and keep it up on command. Yet some guys are shocked when they discover that they can get rock hard by just thinking about sex without long foreplay or intense touching. Launch thick ropes of high-volume ejaculate, porn star style. Achieve complete control of the orgasm, from level of intensity to how long it takes until you decide to come. Try new sexual positions without worrying about losing the erection. Enjoy headboard rattling, leg trembling, toe-curling orgasms where the climaxes leave her in complete ecstasy and unable to move. Attract countless more women by way of increased confidence and the inner knowing that she'll melt in your arms thanks to your newfound sexual ability, and so much more. Because the ingredients in Duraflex help your body become healthier and the ED fades away, the sexual ability of your youth comes pouring back into your love life, and you'll be astounded by what you're able to achieve in the bedroom and how great you feel outside of it. So, by now, it should be clear to you that the synergistic effect of the ingredients in Duraflex have the remarkable ability to help rejuvenate your love life and give you the tools to get more pleasure out of sex. And maybe you can even picture all the things you're going to do now that you have no sexual limitations. Yet you may still have a few questions, like how can I get my hands on Duraflex today? How much will I pay? And how is it guaranteed to work? Those are all great questions, and I'll get to them in just a moment, but first, I have a question for you. What is it worth to you to finally put all your sexual frustrations in the rear-view mirror, to know, once and for all, that you're free to enjoy sex without worrying about getting hard or staying hard, or whether you're able to please your partner? How confident will you feel when you can walk down the street, meet the eyes of a beautiful woman, and know that you could give her the sexual experience of a lifetime if you so choose, or that your wife or girlfriend will respect you for the real man that you are, now that you can fulfill her every desire? Let me not beat around the bush, and excuse me for putting it this way, but damn it. What is it truly worth to know that you can grow big as a bull, hard as a rock, and fully penetrate your lover for hours on end, like a human jackhammer, plowing the powerless earth beneath you as you watch her twist, turn, dig her nails into the sheets, and scream in ecstasy as you ravage her again and again and again? Most men would give away everything they owned for that kind of sexual power. I'm sure you already know men that have spent thousands and even tens of thousands on surgeries, treatments, and dangerous pills just to get a taste of that kind of sexual control. And let's not mention what it would cost you if you went down the wrong road, like these misguided men, and were forced to pay with not money, but your health, like terrible heart conditions from pill dependency, to penis deformity from botched surgeries, or even, God forbid, your life. You can't put a price on that. That's why you've been truly blessed to find this video, because it's clear to you that you don't have to risk anything, and in fact you have everything to gain. So I ask you again, what is it worth to get rock hard whenever you want, enjoy passionate, worry-free sex, and know that you'll always give your lover the night of her life? I can show you countless texts and emails from men that would gladly pay thousands of dollars for this power. However, because you found this video today, you won't pay even a fraction of that. When you click on the big button below, we'll rush your order of Duraflex directly to you for just $69. And the best part is, when you place your order now, you'll be taking advantage of the years of research that help fix soft erections and give you the sexual health, desire, and satisfaction that you deserve. If you break that down daily, it comes to less than $2.25 a day, which is less than you'd pay for a Big Mac at McDonald's. And I'm pretty sure that you'd prefer to get bigger in places other than your belly, if you know what I mean. It's even less than you'd pay for a pack of condoms, though that's one item you may want to stock up on once you get your Duraflex and begin to use it. Now, I want to make this a simple, no-brainer decision for you to make. I strongly believe Duraflex is going to finally end your frustrating struggles with erectile dysfunction. So when you click the button below to claim your bottle of Duraflex today, I want you to do something you probably have never been asked to do before. I want you to take your bottle to your local doctor, just to be sure he or she is someone ethical who has not been corrupted by the temptation to put profits above your health. Show your doctor the ingredients and just ask, will this help me get harder, fuller, longer-lasting erections? If it's not the case that your doctor agrees that this is the best thing you can do to help cure your ED, or if for any reason you do not see and feel the difference that Duraflex will make in your erections, we'll refund every penny of your investment without questions or any hard feelings. Now, remember earlier when I said that I don't know for how long I can keep this website up? Well, it's true, because, look, I never set out to be some kind of erection guru. I originally put this video up because I felt called to serve men who need help restoring their love lives. And this webpage has already become much more popular than I ever could have imagined. So, if you have even the slightest bit of interest in bringing back the sexual excitement and passion that you used to enjoy, then you should take action and claim your bottles of Duraflex today. All you need to do is click the big button below this video right now and plug in your information on the secure, encrypted form on the following page. Remember, your purchase will always be confidential. When you click that button, we'll begin to process your order and ship your bottles of Duraflex immediately. And trust me, this moment will be the beginning of a new life for you. All the embarrassing looks from your lover, the shame, the low self-esteem, and the worried feeling that comes when you're about to have sex but know you can't perform. All that will wash away when you make your decision to claim your bottle of Duraflex now. And because I want to make this decision an absolute no-brainer for you, for the next few minutes, when you claim your bottles of Duraflex now, you're going to receive 3 free reports available for immediate download. Bonus number 1, The Mountain, easy exercises for a monster member. Have you heard that all penises have a potential length, set point, that could be 2 to 3 inches bigger than you are now? The Mountain is a short, quick read with pleasurable, step-by-step exercises you can do to help you achieve your full erect potential. Imagine how much more satisfaction and confidence you'll have when you're sporting a fuller, thicker member at rest. And enjoy the look of shock and awe on your lover's face when she sees you at your fullest erection potential for the first time. Bonus number 2, Legendary Lover, 7 sex tricks that give her instant orgasms. Did you know that there is a way to position your leg during sex that lets you last for 45 minutes and even up to 2 hours? Have you heard about the drill angle that hits parts of her vagina most men don't even know exist? When you get Legendary Lover, you'll own the forgotten manuscript that contains 7 new positions too powerful to include in the Kama Sutra. And when you use these sex tricks, you'll have the secrets that'll help give your lover orgasms she didn't know were possible. Orgasms so pleasurable that she'll be fully convinced that you're the best lover she's ever had. Bonus number 3, Confessions, sex secrets women want men to know. Did you know that women don't hate sex? Women don't need to be in love to have sex? And women do not care about how much money you make. Wouldn't it be great if the confusing assumptions about what's going on in a woman's brain could all be cleared up? In this controversial report, you'll learn the sex secrets that women wished you knew so that you never have to wonder ever again. You'll find all 3 of these exclusive reports waiting for you on our secure, private download page once you go ahead and claim your bottles of Duraflex now. All you have to do is press the big button below this video and claim your bottles of Duraflex and your 3 free bonuses. See for yourself how effective it is. Find out what thousands of our satisfied customers already know. Duraflex works. Just click the button below now to grab your bottles and finally get the help you need to naturally regain full, firm erections without having to resort to dangerous pharmaceutical drugs or risky surgeries. Duraflex will help you once again regain the erections of your youth and give you the kind of confidence to get it up and keep it up on command whenever you want. Listen, the decision you face right now is an important one, and it has everything to do with the future of your health, confidence, and relationships. A great man once told me that there's no such thing as staying in one place. You're either in the process of getting better or you're moving backward and becoming worse. If you do nothing, you'll watch as your ED becomes worse and worse every day, and the pleasure of sex becomes a distant memory. Or you can claim your bottles today and also claim your new, fuller, more confident sex life where you perform at the highest level and give your partner more pleasure than she ever could have imagined was possible. The kind of sex that removes any thoughts of being with another man so that she's yours and only yours. And you can have all of that while feeling confident that you made the right decision when you click the button below and claim your discounted bottle now. So, how effective is Duraflex? Richard from Elk Grove, California wrote to me and said, "The worst I ever got was when my ex broke up with me. I would masturbate to porn all day, if I could even get it up for that. My sexual confidence was shot, and that poured over into other areas of my life. However, when I saw your video, I knew I found the answer. Everything you said just seems to make sense. I was still a bit nervous. I'd never bought anything online before, but I thought to myself, just see for yourself, see what happens. So I decided to buy a bottle and give it a little test run. First, my erections came back, and then my confidence. I'm dating again, and when the lights turn off and the clothes come off, I feel like she's in for a real treat." Francisco from Austin, Texas emailed me this: "Complete BS. That's what I thought the first time my good friend Jonathan told me about this new boner vitamin he was taking. I just thought it was another form of Cialis, and I had no interest in going down that road again. Well, after 2 months, and after listening to my wife go on and on about how his wife Betty was enjoying the greatest sex of her entire life, I had to try it myself. I borrowed a few doses from Jonathan's bottle and did a little trial run for the week, and I'll be honest, it worked a bit too well. My wife started asking why all of a sudden I was lasting so long after being more of a 1-minute man for years. So I told her, I can't lie to that woman. But instead of being disappointed, she encouraged me to buy the entire 6-pack of bottles that you offer right away. And just so you know, I gave 2 away to my brothers. They're raving fans as well. Thanks." And Matt from Melbourne, Australia wrote in and shared this story with me. "I'm looking forward to the moment we get to meet and I can finally shake your hand, mate. I simply cannot believe how well this silly little herbal blend has totally changed my sex life. I'm single, 37, and I had ED for over 10 years. Yep, at the ripe old age of 27, my little fella refused to stand to attention. Scared the crap out of me. I did the Viagra thing, and that worked for a while, but then I had a series of kidney problems and had to stop. However, Duraflex works like a charm. It works better for me if I take it 1 day before and then 1 hour or more before. Taken that way, I get harder erections and last for an hour or even better. Stays hard after climax, too. I do not have any side effects with this product, unlike with Viagra, which I have experienced bad headaches, nausea, fainting spells, and those kidney issues. Thanks for everything you've done. Keep it up." And a housewife from Wichita, Kansas, had this to say about her husband. "After years of our marriage, my husband began to drift away and spend much less time with me. He always used too much work as an excuse whenever I tried to have sex with him. Luckily, he still remained loving and would kiss me every morning and night and buy me flowers at random. But he didn't want to have sex, and that bothered me. With time, I found him getting irritated as well. We talked with a family friend who also happens to be a doctor, and he suggested that we give Duraflex a shot. And since then, he has been perfectly all right. Now, he initiates sex like he used to when we first got married, and he even lasts a lot longer than he did back then. Thanks so much." Now, I have to go. I hope that by now it's clear to you that you no longer have to suffer through a sexually unsatisfied life. You don't have to live with low self-confidence and limp self-esteem. That you no longer have to look at another disappointed face ever again. By now it's clear to you that there is a way out. Perhaps you thought your sexual prime was behind you, but you were wrong. Your sexual prime is right in front of you, and all you have to do is step into it. All you have to do is click the button below this video and claim your bottle of Duraflex. Remember, it's been clinically proven to help maintain and support erectile function, promote healthy erectile function for sexual activity, support erectile health, promote sexual desire and libido, support sexual vigor, and support increased sexual satisfaction. These results have been tested and proven in a triple-masked study, which is to say that science proves what you may already feel to be true. Duraflex is the solution you've been looking for. Because, let's face it, if you don't do something now, when will you? Maybe you've been single and frustrated for years, or you're in a relationship and already feeling her slip away. If you're single and suffering through ED, you may get to a point where your confidence is so shot that you never date again. Or maybe you get into a situation like mine, where your woman suffers for so long that she can't take it anymore, or breaks up with you, or asks for a divorce, or just disappears without saying a word when you least expect it. Because you should realize that no man who suffers from ED suffers alone. She suffers too. Imagine the shame and embarrassment she feels every time you can't get it up for her, as she blames herself for being too fat, too undesirable, or too unattractive for you. How long do you think she'll wait around for you to figure out your little problem? No man should ever have to find out. And thankfully, no man ever has to again, now that you know how effective Duraflex is. All you have to do is click the button below and claim your bottle now. And this decision is really no decision at all, because all you have to do is click the button to give it a try. The risk is all mine. You're already getting my ironclad money-back guarantee. So if you're not absolutely thrilled by the erections you get, by the enjoyment you begin to have in your sex life, then all you have to do is let me know, and I give you every penny back. So you really have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And so does every woman that gets the privilege of experiencing the new you, the bigger, better you. Right now, you're just seconds away from the dawn of a new life, a more fulfilling, more confident life, when you claim your bottle now. Because, whether you know it or not, you've reached the proverbial fork in the road. Down one path is the old life, the life of constant embarrassment and frustration, of sad looks, arguments, crying, disappointment, and feelings of failure. You've been down that road. You know where it leads. You don't want that for yourself anymore, and that's why you're here. Then there's the other path, the right path. That road is filled with confidence, love, joy, and fulfillment. You're set to experience a life that you never have. And it's exciting. All you have to do is click the button below and claim your bottle of Duraflex now. The choice is yours. And for your sake, for her sake, I hope you make the right one. Thanks for watching, and God bless. Hello, while you're still here, maybe I can help you make your decision now by noting a couple of our most frequently asked questions. Ideally, I'll answer any inquiries you may have as you sit there and make your decision to buy. Number 1. How safe is Duraflex? Are there any side effects? Duraflex has been formulated from natural, earth-grown ingredients, so as you'd expect, it is completely safe. None of the thousands of men before you that chose to make a decision and claim a bottle have ever experienced anything other than increased hardness and libido, the expected effects. Number 2. How long does it take to see results? Every man is different, so every man should expect to see results at different times. For some, they may notice changes within the first few doses of Duraflex, while for others, it may take a daily dosage for some time before their erections regain the hardness that they desire. Either way, a consistent daily use of Duraflex will help give you the erections you and your partner deserve. Number 3. How much sex can I have on Duraflex? The amount of sex you can have is dependent on your age, health, and of course, your sexual appetite. That said, for a man of average health between the ages of 30 to 45 can have at minimum 3 sexual intercourses sessions per day. When it comes to elder patients of average health, they can expect at least 2 rounds of sexual intercourses per day if their appetite desires it. Naturally, men in great health can, and do, regularly exceed these projections. Number 4. What should I do if I don't feel the effects of Duraflex immediately? Like most vitamins, the speed in which Duraflex gives you results could be affected by whether you took Duraflex with food or on an empty stomach. So try another dose the next day on an empty stomach. If this remedy doesn't influence your erections immediately, don't push the panic button. Try increasing the dosage to 2 pills and give it time. You should see your erections return within a few days of regular usage. Number 5. Does Duraflex influence areas other than erections? Most men report that the increased hardness that Duraflex gives them leads to a remarkable effect on their confidence and overall well-being. You may notice that you walk around with your head held a little higher, your chest out, and more confidence in your walk. You'd be surprised how much solving this little problem can greatly affect your emotional and mental state. Number 6. Will I get erections at awkward times? Some folks do report an increase in random erections, like when waking from a long night's sleep or during conversation with women who they're attracted to. However, these men also find that the occasional stiffness is a welcome feeling, contrary to the frustrating, lifeless feeling that they used to suffer through. Number 7. Does Duraflex make your penis bigger? While Duraflex doesn't guarantee to make your penis greater than your genetics allow, you'll be pleasantly surprised at how much bigger it looks in comparison to the way it was before. It's possible that after years of unsatisfying erections, your penis had never been at its full potential. In fact, you may discover a couple of hidden inches once you're fully erect. Number 8. I show at least a bit of kidney condition and hypertension. Is this safe? Duraflex does not have a direct effect on the heart like other pharmaceutical drugs like Cialis or Viagra. However, we always suggest to bring your bottle to a doctor or specialist so that they may confirm that taking Duraflex is right for you.